Hello and welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into the idea of translation. And trust me, it's probably not the kind you're thinking of.
You know, when you hear the word translation, your mind probably jumps to language, right? But what if I told you the most important, the most fundamental translations in the entire universe are happening right now on a scale so small you can't even see them?
Okay, so let's break this down. On one hand, you've got the translation we all know and get. Converting English to Japanese. Simple enough. But on the other hand, there's this incredible biological translation that is literally building life itself. It's taking the genetic language of DNA and turning it into the functional language of the body, into proteins. It's building you.
So let's zoom way in. Inside every single one of your cells, right now, there's this secret language being spoken. A fundamental process, often called the central dogma of biology, is constantly at work. It's like a microscopic factory, translating the code in your DNA into the proteins that make you, well, you.
And the hero of this whole story? It's a tiny molecule called transfer RNA, or tRNA for short. Think of it as the cell's master translator, or maybe its dictionary. Its job is to read the genetic code from a messenger molecule and then deliver the exact right amino acid to build a perfect, functioning protein. It's absolutely crucial.
Okay, but here's where it gets really wild. This master translator, this tRNA, sometimes gets a secret update. It's a complex little modification called Q-acine. We'll just call it Q. And Q acts like a tiny editor's note right there on the tRNA that fine-tunes the accuracy and the speed of the whole translation process. It's a subtle but powerful tweak.
So what's so fascinating about this little editor's note? Get this, we can't make it. Humans and other eukaryotes, we just can't produce it on our own. We have to get its precursor, something called Qine, from our diet. And believe it or not, a primary source is the bacteria living in our gut microbiome. That's right, the little microbes in your gut are helping your cells translate your own DNA. It's a partnership.
Okay, so this all leads to a really crucial question. What happens when this molecular editor goes missing? What are the stakes when there's a typo in this translation?
Well, in bacteria, the fallout is immediate and pretty dramatic. When E. coli is missing it, for example, it triggers a weird stress response, making it way more sensitive to things like hydrogen peroxide. In cholera bacteria, a lack of Q actually makes them less tolerant to certain antibiotics. It basically causes a reprogramming of the whole proteome by kicking off a cascade of translation errors. It's a big deal.
But in us, in humans, the stakes get even higher. When we're deficient in Q, it can lead to proteins misfolding and clumping together. This triggers something called endoplasmic reticulum stress and the unfolded protein response, which I know is a mouthful. But the important part is, this is linked to impaired learning and memory in mice, and it's associated with the pathology of really serious neurodegenerative diseases.
And the research really puts it plainly. Scientists are now saying that Q may actually play a neuroprotective role. It could be helping to prevent that protein misfolding and aggregation, that clumping that's so characteristic of diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It's incredible.
And this chart illustrates the effect brilliantly. Look at this. In a lab model of Parkinson's, you see the diseased neurons with these really high levels of aggregated, misfolded protein. But then, look at what happens when they add synthetic quinine back into the mix. The levels of that bad protein drop a lot. It just goes to show you how powerful this one little molecule can be. Okay, so we've got this tiny molecule, Q, that fine-tunes the translation of our DNA. But what if the thing being translated isn't a gene? What happens when a company translates your behavior to build a product? Let's shift gears a bit and look at how this same idea plays out in a totally different arena, our digital world. Because it turns out companies like Google have become absolute masters at translating human behavior. Think about it. Every search you make, every link you click, every location you ping, it's all a piece of code. It's language that's describing you. And Google's job? Well, their job is to translate it. And here's the thing. We don't even have to guess how this works. To understand these digital translators, we can read the source text. It's right there in Google's own privacy policy and terms of service.
And when you look at it, it's pretty clear they've built this massive data translation engine. They take the what, all that content you create like emails and photos, your device IDs, your location, your web activity, and they translate it into the why. And what's the why? To improve their services, sure, but also to build a really detailed profile of you for personalized ads.
They don't even hide it. They literally use the word translating in their terms of service. They give themselves a license to modify and create derivative works based on your content, such as reformatting or translating it. They are literally reinterpreting the things you create.
So let's pull back. We have these two incredibly powerful, mostly invisible systems of translation. One is working from the inside out at the cellular level. The other is working from the outside in on a social, digital level.
And the parallel between them it's really striking. In biological translation, the input is your DNA. The translator is tRNA. And that tiny editor's note, Q-Asine, can change the whole output. Now look at digital translation. The input is your data. The translator is an algorithm. And the editor's note, it's things like cookies and unique IDs. And the output is your user profile, your entire online experience.
So here's the bottom line. A really subtle change in translation in either of these systems can mean the difference between health and disease, or it can mean the difference between seeing one ad versus another, or even one news story versus another. These tiny invisible tweaks have huge downstream effects.
And all of this really leaves us with one final big question. When you have these invisible systems doing all this translating, who's checking their work? Whether it's the code of our cells or the code of our clicks, the power is in the translation. So, who's in control?